Those of you who have younger siblings know how annoying they can be, and my youngest sister can be very, very annoying. I know you're watching. Hi, you're very annoying. She has been bugging me for months and months and months to make meatballs, and quite honestly, it has been quite a long time since I made meatballs. I've taken this opportunity to make a new recipe despite there being 5 already on the blog. This one is going to be amazingly delicious, and for today we're going to make some garlic and tandoori masala meatballs. Very easy to make and extremely explosively delicious. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for subscribing, and karibuni tena to Kaluhi'S kitchen. My very first ingredients are ready, set to go, as you can see, and the ingredients I'm going to use for this first step are very, very simple and easy to get, but when used in combination they just like explode in flavor. One thing I have to stress before we begin is making meatballs goes beyond just taking meat and rolling into a ball and frying. The meat itself must have inherent flavor of its own, and adding flavor to the meat is not like complicated like doing a kidney transplant on yourself or whatever. It's just going to your mama mboga or to your supermarket, getting your spices and herbs, then coming and infusing flavor into the meat. So for the ingredients I'm going to start with, for the spices I wanted very simple spices, but when used together, perfection. For that, black pepper, some coriander powder and some cumin powder. Then for my herbs, a large portion of some dania leaves and a whole bulb of garlic. It may sound like a lot, but guys, please, there's nothing like too much garlic, and for this recipe you will need a lot of garlic. And good thing is you can find garlic and dania at your mama mboga, so it's pretty cheap, so it won't hurt your pocket. This is about a cup of dania and a bulb of garlic. I've already said that. For my binding ingredients, I went with an egg and breadcrumbs. Some people prefer to use either the breadcrumbs or the egg, but I personally find that using both the egg and the breadcrumbs makes the binding process a lot faster and a lot easier. You can use either or, but personally I think using both works better. Also, you can use lean ground beef, but I prefer to use beef that has some fat content because it renders a lot better and cooks a lot better in my opinion. But if you want to use lean beef, feel free, it's a free world, it will still work perfectly. So now that we've gone through the first ingredients, let's start with the first process, which will just involve dumping everything into the bowl, mixing together, and once combined, that's when we go into the rolling process. Tuendelee. Rolling. We've progressed so well, and I'm going to proceed with searing the meatballs after we are done. Some people prefer to deep fry, but for me, I feel like searing gives it a nicer color and a fuller flavor because of the searing process. Deep frying can make them a bit soggy and a bit zidubuke, and we want to maintain their round shape, so searing is perfect. You can use any pan, but for me, I like using this grill because I can do one batch at a go or 2 batches. Like today we'll do 2 batches and then it cooks faster. But whichever pan you use, just use it because ni mkono yako ndo inapika, si sufuria. The sufuria does not matter. Just use any pan you have. Bora the process goes as I have shown you, you'll be fine. Another thing I want to say before we proceed with the searing is, for the dania, make sure that you chop them very, very small so that they combine with the meat fast. They combine with the meat well, because if you chop them kubwa kubwa, they will interrupt the rolling process. But if they are fine and small kabisa, they will combine with the meat vizuri sana and the rolling process will be very, very smooth. I think I've said everything I needed to say, so let's start the searing process. We are now done with the searing process and my meatballs smell amazing, they look amazing, and I know the end result will also be super amazing. Now we're going to set this aside and then we're going to go into the next and final phase of our cooking, which is the stewing process. As you can see, all my ingredients are laid out and ready. So a quick run through. First things that will go into my sufuria, a bucket load, not literally, but a bucket load of spring onion, which street lingo here in Kenya is kitungu matawi. I added a lot of it because I like the flavor profile of anything meaty with kitungu matawi, so they had to feature here. To offset that taste, a little bit of red onion and another bucket load of garlic. Garlic, best herb ever. Then next after that will go my tomatoes and tomato paste. You can use either or, but I like using both of them in combination, and I love my tomato paste because it not only intensifies the color of the base ingredients, but it also really thickens the base of whichever savory dish you're making it with. So always make sure you have your tomato paste. Sijui mbona na hema. For my spices, for the star spice of this particular dish, Tandoori masala. I used Tandoori masala for my matoke a few months back, and I promised you guys that we're going to come back and use it for something meaty and super savory, and here we are. You have to have this spice. I bought mine in my supermarket Carrefour, so you can get it in any supermarket spice aisle. Na nimeimba yumbo mara nyingi sana, musiogope spices na tembeeni kwa spice aisle zenu, because every single spice I use is very locally available. Next is some dried thyme. If you have fresh thyme, feel free to use it as well. And then some paprika and some chili. The chili I'm using today is by Mdalasini relishes. I'm going to link her contacts down below. It's very potent. So for the small jar you're going to purchase, it's going to last a long time. So it's a good buy, and then mnunue, please support Kenyan businesses. Msisahau. Now that I have everything laid out, karibu nisahau. Another very important ingredient is my plain yogurt. The reason why plain yogurt is an important ingredient for this recipe is not only will it thicken the stew, but it will also offset the heat of the hot spices. Plain yogurt paired with plain yogurt used in this recipe will balance out everything. You'll still feel the heat, but it will be very subtle and very soft on your palate, not in an overwhelming, overpowering way. That's why plain yogurt is very important. Now wewe, ebu sikiliza, come close, please karibia. Don't buy banana yogurt. Kiza, wewe, Mary, rudisha your chocolate yogurt. Wewe, Brenda, mbona umechukua banana yogurt? Na wewe Mulwa, rudisha hiyo strawberry yogurt, please, guys. Do not use sweet yogurt for this dish. Hii wimbo nimeimba Twitter hadi I know nimebo kila mtu. For savory dishes, only use plain yogurt. Please, wachana na banana yogurt, rudisha your strawberry yogurt, usiangalie hiyo chocolate yogurt, please. plain yogurt only. Now that we've gone through everything and we've said everything that needed to be said, twende tupike sasa. We're now at the home stretch and I'm so excited about how this dish will turn out in the end. One thing I really like about this particular stage we are at is everything looks nice, thick and saucy, which is something you two have to make sure when you cook any savory dish. At the tomato phase of anything, everything must be combined and fully thickened and saucy. And I also want to say the tomatoes lazima zipotelee ndani kabisa. At the end of your dish, you shouldn't like serve your meat or your potato stew or your ndengu and then you still have huge chunks of tomatoes. Why? That's because you didn't allow this part to cook down as it should be. When you serve anything and then unaona kuna huge tomatoes and huge I don't know what, it means at one phase, at the initial stages of cooking, you did not allow things to cook down. Do not rush the cooking process. Mnaona vile yangu iko nice and thick and combined? Yes. Pia yako inafaa kuwa hivyo. Regardless of whether you grate your tomatoes, which will completely eliminate that problem, but if you chop or dice your tomatoes, you have to make sure everything cooks down to perfection. Not only is this phase important for the cooking down of tomatoes hadi zipotelee ndani, it's also important for the spices to cook down and combine with each other flavor-wise and also texture-wise. When you rush the cooking process, the spices will at the end be very grainy and the flavors be very singular. You want everything to combine vizuri sana. So please do not rush the cooking process. It's fun, so just go with the flow. Now that we are done with this phase and everything looks spectacular, we're now going to go in with the meatballs we had earlier on seared, mix them in, allow them to simmer for a couple of minutes, add the plain yogurt, then simmer for another couple of minutes, then add the dhania, and then we are done. This looks amazing and I can't wait for my sisters to come home, for my parents to come home as well, so that they too can kula kwa macho na kukula ya ukwelo once we have this for dinner. I can't wait for you guys to try this as well. Please don't forget the exact recipe quantities are on my blog, link on my description box. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a heart on the comment section if you don't have anything to say. Thank you so much for being here, and don't forget to share this recipe with everyone in all your WhatsApp groups. I don't know which starch I'm going to have this with. It will be bomb with pasta, but also amazing with mashed potatoes, amazing with potato wedges, amazing with ugali, amazing with rice. I'll decide later, but whatever I'm going to choose to have this with, I know my garlic tandoori masala meatballs are going to be super amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video. For me, it's now time to go eat, finish taking photos, and then share this recipe with you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye.